Hey, 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 it's Ilona Sanders, and thank you for connecting with Spiritual Success TV Live, where we are here lighting the way for you to create a clear path forward. I am dedicated to delivering personal and spiritual empowerment that will be the catalyst for true transformation in your life. With that being said, I'm going to invite everyone to come in now. Bring your hearts and your mind present. I say this each and every week. This is not entertainment. This is not even church. This is a sacred platform where we can gather and continue on our spiritual journey. Good morning, Brian, my son. So good to see you. Good morning, Deborah J. Thanks for joining us today. So let's bring our hearts and our mind present right now to the sacred moment. I often tell you that this present moment, this now moment, is your moment of power. It is your defining moment. This is your breakthrough moment. So we always start, let's take a good healing deep breath in, and you breathe in that God oxygen that's so full of life. And on the exhale, sit all the way in your heart center, sit in the center of your spirit and feel the Holy Spirit's presence as it is activated. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Akira. So glad to have you join us today. And we are ready now to just open up to see what is in store for us today. So I want to ask you a question. Good morning, Margot. So happy to see you this morning. I want to ask you the question, what's stopping you? Good morning, Karen. Thanks for joining us. What's stopping you? There are many of you, I am sure, you have dreams, you have goals, you have aspirations. There's a way that you know that you are here and that you should be living your life, but for some reason, you're not quite there. You're not quite manifesting it. So I want to ask you the question, what's stopping you? The number one thing that I know that so many people wrestle with is a spirit of fear. But in particularly, being afraid or having a fear of being rejected. I want you to really hear this morning, because I believe that this is going to be a catalyst for breakthrough for you today and start the transformation process to get you from where you are to where you know you should be living your best life. So the spirit of fear, or more so rejection, that fear of rejection, being afraid that if you step up in your true self and in your authentic self, that you will be rejected. Rejection is what I call phase 2 of a reactive system, right? It's a reactive system because you are reacting or responding to something that's not in your best interest. Good morning, Classic. So happy to see you with us today. So rejection is phase 2 of a reaction system. Rejection it's that lonely feeling of being unwanted or being unloved or being unfulfilled. When rejection is in full blown and operating, you have a sense of agony. It's the agony of desperately wanting people to love you, yet you are thoroughly convinced that they don't. There is an aching desire to be a part of something, but always feeling like you're never quite a part of something. And so there are times that you may feel like the odd man out. So when we start talking about rejection, I call this whole makeup of rejection a cycle. Good morning, Lucina. Thanks for joining us today. It's rejection cycle because not only is there fear of rejection, then you start rejecting yourself, and then the cycle just continues to go around, and then people reject you. So I want you to see that. If you're taking notes, write that down. When there is a fear of rejection, when you are afraid of being judged, criticized, talked about, misunderstood, what you will begin to do is set yourself up where you start rejecting yourself. And we're going to go deep into this over the next couple of weeks so that you can start getting the liberty, the freedom, and the empowerment to become who you are designed to be. And when you start rejecting yourself, that in turn sends a signal out to the universe, and people pick up on that signal and they reject you. I want you to hear this because I'm going into deep water today. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not milk. This is not meat. Remember, we are now in the mysteries of the kingdom. People are responding to what you are putting out. People are reading your signal, your vibration, your aura, and they are picking that up on an unconscious or subconscious level, and then in turn, they treat you the way that that signal is telling them to treat you. Because it's almost like you have something stamped in your forehead that says, reject me, because that's what you're giving out. When you are in fear and intimidation, and you're shrinking, and you're hiding, and you're playing small, and you're not allowing your voice, your true voice, to be heard. You're not allowing the authenticity of who you are to come forward in your communication. People pick up on that fear and they begin to reject you. And so this is why I always tell you the number one key to your spiritual success is to take 100% responsibility for your life, for where you are, and not to blame anyone or anything. You see, beloved, as long as you are locked, looking outward and blaming someone. Good morning, Tanja. So glad to see you. Listen, as long as you're continuing to look outward, and you're blaming people, situations, circumstances, mama, daddy, spouses, children, whatever, partners, you are not yet taking 100% responsibility for your success. People will treat you the way you teach them to treat you. Good morning, Elder David. So glad to have you today. Listen, you teach people how to treat you. Your own fears, your own insecurities, your own inadequacies emits a signal or frequency from you. People pick up on that and they respond to that. All right. So I'm asking the question today, what's stopping you? Now, see, this is what I call one of the most horrible or horrific days in my life. This one shocking day left a long list of side effects behind in my life that I didn't even know was there until I started to grow up and to mature. It was at the tender age of 6, maybe 7 years old, living in Brooklyn, New York. This was a different day, a different time. I'm not going to date myself. But we were living in Brooklyn, New York. I'm about 6, maybe 7 years old at the most. Now I want you to follow me and hear this. I remember waking up one morning and I decided that I was going to get myself dressed, quietly slip out the house, and go and explore the world, right? So I thought that I was getting ready to go on an amazing adventure. Now watch now. I'm 6, maybe 7 years old, so go with me into my childlike mind. And so everybody else is asleep. I wake up early. And so I decide I'm going to get dressed, I'm going to slip out, and I'm going out, and I'm going to have this major adventure. That day turned out to be one of the most shocking and disappointing days of my life. As I ventured outside, it was a bright, sunshiny day. Watch now. I am happy. My spirit is free. Notice how we are as children. Notice that we're not afraid of things. I was not afraid to venture out. I was not afraid to go out alone. I was so ready to explore the world. I was so ready to see all the wonderful things that was waiting for me outside my home. Well, that day I was shocked and I was disappointed beyond belief as I ran into so many people, young and old alike, that began to recoil me, and they started saying things like, "Oh, look at you, your hair is not combed." They began to say, "Oh, look at you, you didn't wash your face." Well, as my 6 or 7 year old self, I did the best grooming job that I could for myself at that age. And so I'm 6 years old. I'm not aware that, my hair needed to be combed, that I didn't wash my face good enough. I was just ready to get up and get out and explore the world. I'm saying all that to say this, beloved. Listen, that day changed me forever. Now, that may sound small. Good morning, Roberta. Good to have you join us today. Now, see, that may sound small and insignificant. Good morning, Debbie S. Thanks for joining us today. That moment may seem small and insignificant. You may be saying, all right, so you went outside and you got teased. But that moment changed my life forever, just like there are some moments in your life that have changed you forever. So here I am, my little 6-year-old self, going out to this grand adventure, not being aware that I was not properly presentable. Watch now, I'm going somewhere. I was not properly presentable to meet the outside world, or I was not in alignment with what society said I should have been, but I did the best I could. So that day changed me forever. Listen, it was both shocking, I was amazed, I was disappointed, I was not ready for that. So right away, listen, as children, you are soaking up everything in your environment from birth to about 6 to 7 years old. You are reading and judging, and you are taking in messages all the time. You are resolving things and coming to resolutions without even realizing. So as a result of that fine reception that I got that day, what message that sent to me was, stop. You're not safe here. This is not safe. Something is wrong. You are not in good hands. You are in danger. My little spirit at that age was damaged from that day forward. And I'm telling you, it left a long line of side effects behind it. So I want you to think today, and I know many of you have probably done this work for yourself, I want you to go back to a moment in your life as a child when you first got the message, I'm not safe. It's not safe for me to be who I am. As a result of that, that one instance was enough for rejection to set deep within my subconscious mind. It was enough to start altering my spirit for the rest of my life, where I began to go through life, looking out at everyone and thinking that everyone and everything that I encountered was more better off than I was. I would walk into a room and scan the room, and I would begin to shrink because I felt like I wasn't worthy to be in that room. And this is as an adult, not understanding that that one instant was enough for rejection and rejection cycle to plague me throughout my childhood, my teen years, my young adult years, and my adult years. And it wasn't until I was full grown and mature as an adult that I began to say, wait a minute, something's not right here. Something is going on. So when rejection is on board, beloved, what begins to happen is that you never allow your true self to be seen. So what happens is that people end up judging you a certain way. People will begin to not accept you, not allow you in. But it's not the people's fault. I want you to get that. It's not their fault. They are responding to what you are giving off and what you are emanating in this earth realm. So what I began to do is go in and do that work and begin to affirm myself. Now, according to the book, and you all that's with me, those of you that's familiar with scripture, you know, one of the scriptures that we pulled and we had to stand on was that I am accepted in the beloved. And so I had to begin, first of all, to accept myself. Because if you don't accept yourself, you cannot expect other people to accept you. If you don't love yourself, you can never expect to really find true love. You're going to always draw to yourself. I want you to hear this. You're going to always draw to yourself people that's going to reject you, abandon you, mistreat you. Why? Because it's a reflection of what you're giving off to the world. So when you don't have that belief and that faith and that confidence and that trust in yourself, Good morning, Marlo. So happy to see you this morning. When you don't have that faith and that confidence, that trust, that belief in yourself, everywhere you go, listen, we are spiritual beings, right? Let's do this. Take a good healing deep breath in. Take a breath. Yes. Let's sit in this. We are all spiritual beings, and people are picking up what you are giving off everywhere you go. So if everywhere you go, you are shy, you are intimidated, you are insecure, you don't feel good about yourself, you don't feel like you're worthy, you feel like you are a reject, a defect, people pick up on that. And thank goodness for the times that you got yourself together. We're getting ready to celebrate for a minute because at least, thank God, there were times in your life when you was able to get yourself together and you were confident about certain things and you were able to make things happen in your life. I am so excited that we are here today in this year, and I told you as a part of the prophetic release that this year is loaded with benefit for you, loaded with good things for you. But first, we've got to deal with what is it that's stopping you? What always stop you in your tracks? What always stop you from going forward, for playing big? And you know, as long as we're here in this physical realm, you're going to be always evaluating and adjusting your life so that you could stand up and step into all that God has called you into. We have all come here. We are all here for a specific reason and specific purpose. And I speak into your life today with a divine decree today that you shall step into the full measure of who you are here to be. And you're getting ready to step in to the greatest version of you. Thank God for where we've been, everything that you've accomplished, everything that you were able to manifest. We're thankful for that. But now it's time to go on. Now, starting right here, right now, it's time for you to step in to the next big version of yourself. So what happens to each and every one of us as we encounter things as children? And I know if you all could put something in the comments right there that you don't mind sharing. Every one of you could say, I have several defining moments in my life as a child when I know I was affected forever, and I'm still getting over the message that's buried deep in an unconscious realm that's driving your life. You see, beloved, the course that I offered, how to discover and remove unconscious blocks. Everyone needs to be a part of that. Good morning, Amber. Thanks for joining us today. Everyone needs to take this course because all of us have unconscious blocks, and those unconscious blocks, that's what's calling the shots in your life. If you ever wonder why you always get to a certain point or a certain level and then you pull back, something happens, sabotage kicks in, something goes off the rail, you get confused, you get foggy, that's because there's an unconscious block that's operating on an unconscious realm in your life that's calling the shots. So the way that God created us and the way that God designed us, I tell you this all the time. We are spirits. We have a soul. We live in a body. Your soul is so powerful, and God designed it that way for a reason. But now what I want to help you do this year, I want to help you step into your royal authority. Step into who you really are with your power and your authority, and begin to understand how to use your soul to connect and align with your spirit to start manifesting in this earth realm in a more powerful way. So you see, beloved, one of the things that happened to me, one of the messages that got buried in my subconscious mind as a result of that encounter at 6 years old. Good morning, Josette. Thanks for joining us today. One of the messages that got buried in my subconscious mind is that you're defective, Ilona. You're not good enough. Because as my 6-year-old self, when I was full of, watch this now, I was so adventurous. When I look back in my mind at my younger self, as my 6-year-old self, I was so adventurous. I would be all over my neighborhood. I'm talking about 10, 15, 20 blocks from home. Well, I'm dating myself now because y'all know that was a different time. Kids just don't get out and travel like that at 6 or 7 years old. I became an entrepreneur at 7, 8 years old. I was making a living for myself that young, right? But look at my 6-year-old spirit. It was adventurous. I was not afraid. There was no fear there. I was ready to go out and explore the world. I was ready to be a part of life. I didn't have insecurity. I didn't have fear. I was not even conscious of if my hair was combed or not, or if my face was cleaned or not. And people started reviling me for that. So what did that do to me, beloved? It sent a message to me. You're defective. You're not good enough. Because if you go out there and if you show yourself to the world, you're going to get laughed at. You're going to get teased at. So you know what I learned to do at a young age? I learned how to do just enough to survive. So you see, beloved, all of this is going to let you know what's controlling your wealth factor. Good morning, Rima. Thanks for joining this morning. All of this is determining your wealth factor, your wealth ceiling. Good morning, David. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, David Bush. I have family on today. I am so excited. Listen, those messages that are buried deep in your subconscious mind calls the shot. It guides you. It navigates your life. So my unconscious belief, number one, was you're defective. You're not good enough. Something is wrong with you. So as a result of that, what I learned to do was to shrink and to play small. I'm talking big right now, y'all. I'm talking good right now. I learned at a young age how to shrink down, how to play small. And even though I became an entrepreneur at the age of 7 or 8 years old, what I learned how to do, because inside I was afraid to venture out too far. This is good talk this morning, y'all, because now you're going to see what's stopping you, what's blocking you from reaching the levels that you know you should be able to reach. So what I did at that young age, I learned how to be an entrepreneur, but look what I did. I would go out, I would work, I would make just enough money for me to survive that day. So for me, I would buy me an Italian icy, a 5-cent Italian icy. I'm dating myself again. I would buy myself a double dog, which was a chocolate cream-filled piece of cake. I would buy a bag of potato chips. Good morning, Celeste. Thanks for joining us. Watch y'all, a 5-cent bag of potato chips. All right. So now y'all know. I know I look like I'm about 25 or 30, but yeah, I've been around a little while. Right? I would make enough money to get what I felt like my needs were going to be for that day, and then I would call it a day and go home. You see? And so watch now. That pattern and that habit of shrinking, playing small, just doing enough. Listen, I ventured out enough to where I felt safe, right? I did enough to where I stayed small. I stayed under the radar. I didn't attract too much attention. Why? Because I did not want the rejection. I did not want to be teased. I did not want to be criticized. I did not want people to make fun of me, right? So as an adult, that set my wealth ceiling. That set me up to, even as an adult, to only allow a certain amount of money in my life. Because why? I wouldn't venture out but so far. I wouldn't play but so big of a game. So we're back to our question. What's stopping you? Is it fear of rejection? What are all the unconscious blocks that's guiding your life and navigating your life that will you sabotage you? So I'm going to repeat this one more time as we wrap up for today. And I want you all to stick with me over the next several weeks because we're going to go deep in here. I want you to prepare to take the full course on how to discover and release unconscious blocks, right? We're going to relaunch that in a few days. So my unconscious block that was stopping me. You're not good enough. You're defective. Something's wrong with you, right? And as a result of that, I limited my life. I limited my life. I limited how far I would go, how much money I would earn, right? And we play it safe. Yes. But we're going to get free. Yes, Marlo, we're still playing it safe. But we're going to get free of that. Good morning, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us today, cuz. Listen, we're going to get free of that. We're going to break through. How many of you all, if you tell the truth, you could just raise your hand, type a 1 and say me, that there were many opportunities you allowed to pass you by because you shrunk and you pulled back. You know the number one way that you sabotage yourself and you miss opportunities is because you have a spirit of suspicion about yourself. Now, for New Yorkers, y'all know what I'm talking about because everybody in New York got a con, got a game, got a scheme. Everybody's doing something. Good morning, Celeste. Thanks for joining us today. Everybody have a con, a game, a scheme. Everybody's doing something. So we grew up in New York City just naturally being suspicious, but that suspicious nature that you have is sabotaging you. Because you are suspicious of everything and everyone. That's the number one way. Then the number two, the second way that this fear of rejection stops you from pursuing opportunities is that you get confused, you get foggy, and you get amnesia. And all of a sudden, listen, one day you're pursuing an opportunity, and when you look up again, and this is real talk, when you look up again, a whole week is gone. Good morning, Luana. Thanks for joining us today. A whole week went by, 2 weeks went by, and you said, oh, I never did answer that email. Oh, I never did call that person back. All of that is a message that's buried deep in your subconscious mind. It's an unconscious block that stopped you, because this is what an unconscious block says. This is part of the job of your subconscious mind. I'm going to share this last point and we're going to wrap it up. Your subconscious mind is there to protect you, and you cannot fool your subconscious mind. It knows what you really believe, and it knows what you really don't believe. It doesn't matter how much you could talk a good game, how much you could convince people that you're this, you're that, you have this, you're going to do that, you're going to do the other, you're doing this, you're doing that. Listen, your subconscious mind knows the truth. See, in my case, my subconscious mind knew that I was already feeling rejected. Yes, thanks, Deborah. Yes. You have something great to offer. Deborah J says her subconscious mind tells her that that what she has to offer will have little impact in someone's life, but that's not true. She's a mighty and significant woman, right? See, those are the blocks that your subconscious mind tells you. So, but your subconscious mind knows the truth, right? Marlo says, I started on a project and it's still sitting on the table 3 weeks later. Yes. See, I love that. See, when you can be honest, this is how you're going to get deliverance. This is how you're going to get free. Your subconscious mind knows the truth, and it knows that you don't believe in yourself, and you don't really believe you deserve that. So what it says is, no, she don't really believe she could be a millionaire. She don't believe that she could have a major impact. She don't believe that she's significant. He don't believe that he's going to shake up a whole nation. And so what that message does, it calls itself protecting you. It calls itself keeping you safe, because you sent the message a long time ago. Keep me safe. Don't let me go too far. Don't let me tap into that. Yes, Lucina says, I feel that people don't want to hear what I have to say. Oh, that is a major one. All of these are just messages that you're telling yourself. It's you telling yourself that story. Watch this now. I'm going to say this, and we're going to hit it and quit it for today. If you notice, all of these subconscious or unconscious blocks that's in your subconscious mind, it's you telling yourself a story. It's not the people out there. It's not the people that you're afraid of. You see, in your mind, I've done this for years. This is why I could talk about it. In your mind, you'll go to do something and immediately somebody will come up in your mind that you know, that you may respect or that you think have authority. And all of a sudden you'll start worrying about what they're going to think about what you're getting ready to do. We will never be as successful or as prosperous as we can be until we get past all of this. So I want you guys to do me a big favor. I want you to share this video with your tribe. Let's get this word out. I want you to go to YouTube and subscribe. Everybody go there and subscribe. I have over 40 videos. What I do with these videos when this is over, I download it, I edit it, I put notes on it. On my inspirationals, I take some and they're 3-minute messages. There's music, there's graphics. I mean, I do it up. There's some e-courses there. Go there and subscribe and just, you know, let your spirit be fed, right? Let your spirit be fed. And so Marla says, that's the truth, Marlo. Marlo says, and some of them are dead and gone. Girl, you're going to make me get up and do a dance right now. That's the truth. There are people that are dead and gone, and you are still holding yourself hostage about what people will think about you or feel about you or how they will be disappointed, and they're dead and gone. Listen, those people are not supporting you. Many of them, they're not paying your bills. They're not thinking about you. They're not calling you on the phone. They have not even an encouraging word for you, and you somewhere worried about what they think about what you're going to do, and your destiny is awaiting you, right? Now, I've been trying to keep these videos under 30 minutes for one reason only. It takes a lot to edit videos. Oh my goodness, and the longer the video is, the longer it takes to edit it, the longer it takes to render it, the longer it takes to upload it. So that's why I've been trying to do like 20 minutes to save myself some time from all that editing. But beloved, I want us to really walk together this year. I'm getting ready to relaunch that course, How to Discover and Release Unconscious Blocks. I'm going to make it where everybody can be a part of that. And I want to work with you one-on-one. I want to work with you so that we are overcoming this. We don't want 2019 to be a repeat of 2018, 17, 16, 15, 10, 12. Come on. Some of the things that we do, you know it's scary for those of you that journal, and I know you can agree with this. It is so scary to pick up a 2005 journal, a 2012 journal, and it's 2019, and you go, I'm still saying the same thing. I'm still dealing with the same thing. But we're going to break through that this year. I promise you. All right, beloved, share this video with your tribe. Go to YouTube and subscribe at Spiritual Success TV. I love you guys. See you next week. Bye now.